At 28,251 feet, 8,611 meters, K2 is the second highest mountain on Earth. It towers over the landscape, its slopes cloaked in ice and snow, a true giant among giants. But ask any mountaineer, and they'll tell you, K2 isn't just another 8,000-meter peak, it's the king of them all. Despite its slightly lower height compared to Mount Everest, K2 is considered the most treacherous mountain on Earth. The mountain's brutal weather, steep slopes, and technical climbing routes have earned it a reputation that terrifies even the most experienced climbers. K2 isn't just a mountain. It's a dark legend, steeped in tragedy and despair, and those who venture to climb it often pay the ultimate price. This is the story of K2, the world's most dangerous peak, where survival is far from certain, and the cost of ambition is often too high. The dark history of K2, located in the Karakoram Range on the border between Pakistan and China, has a history riddled with near-mythical challenges and catastrophic failures. Unlike Everest, where many climbers have triumphed, K2 has claimed the lives of many seasoned mountaineers who dared to conquer its frozen heights. The mountain's terrain is unforgiving, with almost 90-degree inclines, exposed rock faces, and sheer ice slopes that demand a level of technical skill and precision rarely seen on other mountains. The first successful ascent of K2 didn't come until 1954, when an Italian expedition led by Achille Compagnoni and Lino Lacidelli managed to reach the summit, but even their victory was overshadowed by controversy. The success of the climb came at a terrible cost. They reached the summit, but in doing so, they left behind their climbing partner, Walter Bonatti, who was stranded on the mountain for days in near-impossible conditions, even after the summit was reached. It was clear that K2 was no ordinary peak. The harsh weather, technical challenges, and unpredictable terrain made it an almost impossible mountain to conquer. And the history of failed attempts and tragic deaths continues to haunt those who dare to challenge it. The fatality rate, K2 versus Everest, when comparing the death rates of K2 and Everest, K2's reputation as the most dangerous mountain becomes undeniable. While Everest has seen thousands of climbers reach the summit since it was first conquered in 1953, K2 remains a far more daunting challenge. The summit-to-death ratio on Everest is significantly lower compared to K2. In fact, more than 300 climbers have successfully reached the summit of Everest each year, while K2 has only seen about 400 successful summits in total since the first ascent. And yet, K2 has claimed over a third of the climbers who have attempted it. K2's death rate is a chilling 26%, much higher than Everest's 3%. The steep technical climbs and constant avalanche risks have earned K to the unfortunate title of the Savage Mountain. Even with the most advanced technology and the most skilled climbers, K2 takes no prisoners. The mountain's challenges aren't limited to the climb. Itself, getting to K2's base camp is an arduous journey in itself. Unlike Everest, which has a well-established route and base camp, K2 requires climbers to trek through treacherous terrain for weeks, enduring extreme cold, high winds, and unpredictable weather. K2's challenging routes, the bottleneck. One of the most dangerous sections on K2 is known as the bottleneck, a narrow, steep, and treacherous stretch near the summit. At this point, climbers face a near-vertical ice wall, and the risk of avalanches is at its peak. The bottleneck is infamous for its overhanging massive ice blocks that can break off without warning, sending deadly debris crashing down the slopes. Climbers have no choice but to cross the bottleneck, but it is one of the most perilous stretches on any mountain in the world. The icefall has claimed many lives, and the sheer unpredictability of the conditions makes it one of the deadliest points on the entire ascent. In 2008, an expedition faced disaster at the bottleneck when an avalanche struck, killing 11 climbers. They had made it past the bottleneck, but the mountain's savage nature had claimed them at the final stretch. The tragic events on K2. The darkest chapter in K2's history came in 2008. A group of climbers, including some of the world's most experienced mountaineers, faced an extraordinary disaster. On August 1st, a group of 25 climbers from various nationalities reached the summit of K2. The weather had turned unexpectedly harsh, and a deadly storm began to brood out as the storm intensified. The climbers began their descent, but many were unprepared for the fury of the mountain. The storm became so violent that the climbers were stranded above the bottleneck. With no shelter, limited supplies, and exhausted from the climb, many of the climbers succumbed to the conditions. Only a handful made it back to base camp. The tragedy, one of the worst in the history of K2, further solidified the mountain's reputation as a graveyard for the unprepared. The 2008 disaster wasn't an isolated event. Earlier in 2003, a similar storm trapped a team of climbers, resulting in the deaths of 8 members of an expedition from Pakistan, Spain, and the United States. The storm had trapped the climbers at 8,000 meters. And despite attempts to rescue them, none survived. K2 and the battle of survival. Climbing K2 is not simply about reaching the summit, it's about survival in the most unforgiving environment on Earth. The mountain is notorious for its steep inclines, unpredictable avalanches, and constant risks of falling rocks and ice. Even seasoned mountaineers with decades of experience have struggled on K2. The mountain's death zone, above 8,000 meters, is where the human body starts to fail, and the risks of altitude sickness, hypothermia, and exhaustion take their toll. On K2, there are no guarantees. The climbing routes are not as clearly marked or as well established as on Everest, making navigation and progress all the more difficult. The lack of oxygen in the death zone further hinders climbers' ability to think clearly and make sound decisions. Climbers often face the agonizing choice of whether to continue or to turn back. For many, this decision is a matter of life and death. In 1986, a legendary climber, Krzysztof Wielicki, reached the summit of K2 but had to turn back due to the harsh weather. Many climbers have faced this choice, and for some, their decision to press forward has led to their tragic demise. K2's most dangerous year, 2008. The year 2008 marked the deadliest year on K2. The storm that killed 11 climbers was a reminder of how quickly things can go wrong on the mountain. Even the most experienced climbers were helpless in the face of nature's fury. The storm created a deadly bottleneck, leaving climbers stranded and unable to descend to safety. The tragedy served as a stark reminder of the mountain's terrifying power. But it wasn't just the weather that claimed lives on K2. In 2008, an ascent by the famous Polish climber Andrzej Bargiel faced failure when an avalanche hit, forcing the expedition to retreat. The avalanche killed climbers and left many others stranded. Bargiel, like many before him, was forced to abandon the summit. A humbling experience for one of the world's best mountaineers. Climbing K2, the ultimate test. In conclusion, K2 is not just a mountain, it is a testament to human determination and the price of ambition. Climbers continue to challenge the peak, even with its dark history and terrifying reputation. Every year, teams from around the world attempt to scale K2. And while some succeed, many are never heard from again. The history of K2 is one of tragedy, survival, and the ultimate battle against nature. Those who climb K to do so knowing the risks, but driven by the desire to conquer the world's most dangerous mountain. For some, the mountain offers glory. For others, it offers death. K2 remains the pinnacle of mountaineering, and for those who dare to scale it, the line between success and failure is razor-thin. As the sun sets over K2, the world waits, knowing that the mountain will continue to claim lives and shape the future of mountaineering. Its dark history only adds to its mystique, making it a place where only the brave or the foolhardy dare to go. The mountain remains a cruel mistress, demanding everything from those who seek to conquer it and offering little in return. If you like this content, please subscribe.